We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hey, everybody, episode 24 of Vikings Uncensored. I'm Ryno, and over there we got Lance, who looks like he is, I don't know what the hell you were just doing.
Dude, I'm just so happy the season's like a week away.
Yeah, the preseason debacle is behind us.
Ended on, we went undefeated in the loss column.
We went defeated.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a ton of stuff to talk about this week with you guys, which is why we held off on recording until Thursday so we could cover all the.
And we're just gonna let that last game, that preseason game, there's no reason to even talk about it, so we'll just let it, put it to rest and move forward. We're in the season now. Let's get it going.
Yep. Yeah, we lost. Everybody knew it happened. It happened a week ago. We're not going to bother with it.
Right.
But so I guess we'll get rolling here because we do have quite a bit of stuff to talk about. Start off with the latest news. Of course, this is cut down week in the NFL, so there's a lot of guys that yeah. Some notable ones, one of the bigger ones, I guess, NFL wide. Cam Newton, which opened up a can of worms in Vikings.
I can't believe they cut Cam. Oh my God.
Yeah. For those of you who are on that boat, you obviously have not watched Cam Newton play because he hasn't been any good.
Rick, make it call.
How about new, you crazy Dutch bastard?
He hasn't been any good since like 2017, 2018, somewhere in there.
And that was even debatable then too.
Yeah.
He was just getting used right.
Right. And that's the thing coming into this, this offense is not conducive to
He's
changing
definitely a system
itself.
Quarterback for sure.
Yep. We don't change our play calling to take advantage of our players' strengths. We put the square peg in the round hole and beat it with a sledgehammer.
Right. We know that.
Right.
Well, I suggest you gentlemen invent a way to put a square peg in a round hole rapidly.
So there again, Cam wouldn't fit the system. Two, the biggest concern with Kirk this upcoming year is that he may miss time due to COVID protocol stuff, not because he gets injured, because he usually doesn't.
Right.
But newsflash, Cam Newton's not vaxxed either, so you would have the same problem right there. You lose Kirk, you probably lose him and Mond and everybody at the same time.
Conspiracy theories going on down there in New England about Cam getting cut and why he got cut. And
because he's old.
He just got beat out by Mac fucking Jones. That's what happened.
Yeah.
And Darth is he has no feelings, man.
No.
He thinks about his team and where he wants it to be, and he goes with his gut every single time.
Yeah.
So,
but that's all we're going to say about the Cam Newton thing. Put it to
right.
bed. He's not coming.
Podcast.
We don't care. He's not coming here. So,
right.
Move along. Nothing to see here. Now on to the more important stuff here. The Vikings side of the news. Beyond cuts and everything, there was a big week. Of course, Irv Smith went in to have his meniscus surgery. I believe it was on Wednesday.
Right, and it ended up being worse than first
thought. The worst case scenario ended up coming true. He had to have the full surgery, which puts the timetable at least 4 to 5 months before he comes back. So
yeah,
he's able to come back and play in the NFC Championship game in the Super Bowl with us. But
beyond that, shit.
Yeah, beyond that, his season's pretty much done with. So it is.
It's always unfortunate when you got these players that are on the cusp of being, getting that shot, and you've been waiting in the wings just to get that shot, and now that you got it handed to you, And then to have this happen, and it's unfortunate, man. He just can't stay healthy.
Right. Why can't we have nice things, damn it?
You know, I said the same thing the other day to my brother.
Yeah. But then on a little bit higher note, I guess, came out earlier in the week that Harrison Smith signed a contract extension with the team to probably keep him here for the rest of his career.
Right.
It's beyond what he's already getting this year. It's a 4-year, $64 million contract extension.
Right.
Which makes him the second highest paid safety in the league behind Jamal Adams.
And for his age,
that's quite a haul for
it's a pretty respectable deal for him, for sure.
Mhm.
You know, it shows a lot of gratitude, I think, on his part. You know, or for the team being, you know, happy for the work that he's put in here.
Yeah. And I kind of glanced at the terms and stuff. I mean, then we got tied in with all the roster moves and everything, so I didn't look at it real tight, but there are ways, you know, outs in it, you know, say 3 years down the road or whatever, his play falls off.
You got to have those safety measures in there for sure, that, you know, to keep yourself, you know, safe as well.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
You got safety measures for your safety.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah. But then this happened before the news of Irv Smith came out, but the Vikings made a trade for a tight end. We traded a 4th-round pick to the New York Jets for tight end Chris Herndon and a 6th-round pick.
There's Marlowe right there coming in.
Darnold flicks it up in the air and it's caught. It's going to be short of a first down. Darnold, and that is caught. And that's a Jets first down.
Contained him in the pocket. Weren't able to do that, and he was successful running the football.
1:14 to go here in Buffalo. It's been all Bills today as Sam Darnold.
Darnold has looked good, 8 of 11. 16-yard touchdown pass to Berrios. 1st and 10 outside Herndon, and he is held as he goes outside by Willis.
Those two didn't wear a chin strap. It's amazing.
Flacco, pocket collapsing, gets rid of it to Chris Herndon, and the tight end out to the 48-yard line.
It's the fact that he was a really good play caller in other places.
Flacco got rid of it. It is caught. Chris Herndon, the tight end, makes the catch. And this is a 2nd and 4. Flacco to the end zone. Touchdown. Catch is made by Chris Herndon. Darnold. That pass is caught close to midfield.
On first down with a 4-man Rams rush, and Darnold got rid of it quickly and finds an open man, that being Chris Herndon, the tight end. Worked his way down the sideline for 4 catches early. Darnold waiting, finds the open man, and rolling inside the 10 is Chris Herndon. It'll be 1st and goal. On 2nd and 3. Rush 5. Darnold has time, throws a great throw and catch for the first down.
3rd down 5. Johnson in the backfield to the end zone. Caught for the touchdown.
In return.
Yeah. Now, I know Herndon is another one of these guys there's always been talk of, you know, high ceiling, high potentials type stuff with him. Now he's struggled with some injuries and stuff over his career too. So
I've heard, you know, he's above average in pass blocking and above average in receiving. So I mean, he's better than average is basically what I've heard.
Yeah, because at the time, you know, with the Irv thing, the only 2 tight ends we had on the roster were Tyler Conklin and Brandon Dillon. So now again, you know, with Herndon not living up to expectations? Is it because he just isn't living up to expectations, or is it because he's been playing for the dumpster fire that is the New York Jets? For
I
his
was
career?
just going to say that as well, because it just has been ugly over there in the last 5 years, I would say.
Longer than that. But I mean, as we all know, nobody looks good playing for the Jets. But, and, things have maybe changed this year with the new regime and everything in there. But, until there again, the Jets are still the Jets until they prove they're not. But
yeah.
Then one other injury thing of note. Big surprise here again. The Fabergé egg himself, Chad Beebe, did something to his foot in that final preseason game and went on season-ending IR.
Was it even during the game?
I don't know. He probably
wasn't at home. Fucking,
he probably rolled his ankle stepping on an empty Gatorade cup on the sidelines.
Exactly. They say it was at the game, but
yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm still not sure where Irv got hurt at the during the game, because when he played well, and Ben Lever was talking to him on the sidelines afterwards, and Ben even said he didn't look injured to me when I was talking to him or anything, and he wasn't. But apparently, it was something that. Maybe during the game it wasn't bothering him, but when he woke up the next morning, it was hurting him. So, but we're Irv-less until, for all intents and purposes, we can say until next year. Yeah. All right. So
that
now,
sucks.
yeah, it does, because he was poised to have a really good year, I think. He was looking really good in practice and training camp and everything else. But
fuck.
Yeah. What do you do?
Okay.
All right, enough of that. But now we'll move into the real meat and potatoes of what's gone on this week, and that's the roster cuts. Who doesn't love meat and potatoes? I mean,
yummy.
So we've got a long list of cuts that we went through here, and we'll buzz through some of them, and we'll stop at the notable ones. First three cut was right after the game the next day, I guess. It was Judge Ito Smith, the running back that we picked up right before the game.
Cam body.
Yep. Zeandre Johnson and Cole Cabral, who looked like Dakota Dozier 2.0 most of the time on the offensive line during the preseason. So,
yeah.
Speaking of that, he's gone, ladies and gentlemen, off the active roster anyway.
Yeah, he's back, but he's gone.
Yep. So Dakota Dozier was one of the final cuts off the 53. And for most of Vikings Nation, it was a collective thank
everybody
God.
That I had talked to or I'd seen in groups or whatnot was relieved. He was gone.
Mm-hmm. But then, as we'll talk about later, we turned around, bring his ass back, and put him on the freaking practice squad.
Just familiarity, I would imagine. That's why the only reason he's back.
Either that,
and probably a nice guy. It's probably what it was.
I think he's got compromising pictures of Rick Spielman or something. Because, and then of course, the feel-good story of the first week of training camp. Started feeling bad in a real quick hurry. And after another very poor performance against Kansas City, Jake Browning was given his walking papers.
Thank God.
Yeah, I guess
Mr. One-Hit Wonder, Mr. Saturday Night.
Like I said last week, I mean, I was officially out on the Jake Browning experiment before the Kansas City game, and then he looked terrible against Kansas City, which sealed his fate. I mean, nice.
I will say about the Kansas City game, we'll leave it at that. Mon looked a lot better.
Yeah, he did. Which
you know why he's this number 2 right now.
Yep.
As of now.
And we're going to preface all these roster moves by saying as of right now, because it's been changing,
day by day
on the hour here for the last couple of days. But beyond Browning, Shane Zylstra was cut. Hercules Mataafa.
Oh, Hercules.
I seen that come in back a couple weeks back. So
yeah, and then there was talk of him coming back to the practice squad, but that turns out now he's probably not going to. Wide receiver Dylan Mitchell and Wap Fillier both got cut. Amir Abdullah was cut.
Something wrong with his medulla oblongata. It's okay to fight back. Coach Klein said I could. Mr. Coach Klein said I could. It's fine.
So with that, as of right now, anyway, Amir Smith Marset, and when he's ready, D.D. Westbrook will be handling the kick and punt return duties.
Yep.
Beyond that,
maybe even Kenny might be even put back there.
Once he's back too. Then we had a couple of interesting ones here. We cut 2/3 of our specialists. Andrew DePolo, the long snapper, and Britton Colquitt, the punter, both got cut.
I could imagine some of those, simple fans out there, their heads exploding, they were wondering what the fuck is going on.
Twitter was losing their minds when they were doing this. So we're just going to go for it on 4th down all the time now, blah, 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 blah.
Maybe they'll have Zach Davidson come back and kick punts for us.
Yeah. Speaking of Zach Davidson, he was also let go. A few other ones. Zach Bailey, offensive lineman. Jake Vargas, the backup fullback. No big surprise.
We seem to a lot of those backup fullbacks. We bring them in and then we just let them go.
Yeah. Well, you don't need more than one fullback on the roster.
Well, we had that one guy that went to Tennessee that actually ended up being fairly decent.
Yeah, I forget what his name is, but
yeah.
Beyond that, Tuff Borland, Miles Dorn, the safety, Kyle Hinton. He's a backup guard. Everson Griffin got cut.
Yeah, people were really taken aback by that cut.
This one was even worse than the specialist getting cut, but as we'll get into a little bit later, it was a procedural move.
Right.
He's now back on the active roster again. Cornerback Perry Nickerson, running back Axel AJ Rose Jr.
Where do we go now?
To the practice squad.
Where do we go?
Where do we go now? Also, Kenny Willekes. Jalen Holmes made the initial.
I was not happy about this at all.
He made the initial cut of 53, but then shortly thereafter, he was let go.
I was wondering, why is this guy still on our team? What has he shown on tape at all?
There again,
like I said, he must practice good. But
there again, I think Dakota Dozier maybe gave him some backups of those compromising photos or something. But then
what do we know?
We had 4 players that went to IR, which when they went to IR initially before 3 p.m. on Wednesday means that they're out for the year and cannot come back. One, as we mentioned before, was the Fabergé egg, Chad Beebe. He's got to have foot surgery. He's done for the year. Safety Luther Kirk on IR, done for the year. Drew Samia on IR, done for the year. And quarterback Nate Stanley, who has been MIA since before the joint practices with Denver, supposedly injured himself
this
somehow.
This is a list of garbage players anyways.
Yeah, it's here again. None of these guys, I don't understand why, you could have just waived him with an injury designation.
Right.
But no, they don't cost a roster spot on IR, I guess.
That's true.
Whatever. I personally wouldn't have bothered, but I'm just a hack behind a microphone.
Cold-blooded motherfuckers up in this bitch sometime.
Yeah.
Just gone.
You're done. You're cut. You're cut.
No.
Okay, it's time for the easiest part of any coach's job, the cuts. Now, while I wasn't able to cut everyone I wanted to, I have cut a lot of you. Wendell is cut. Rudy is cut. Janie, you're gone. Steven, I like your hustle. That's why it was so hard to cut you. Congratulations. The rest of you made the team. Except you, and you.
For this Minnesota nice bullshit.
Mm-hmm. So as we're recording here, 9 o'clock Thursday morning, or thereabouts, 9:30. These are the cut 9:36. Okay. These are the cuts and everything that have happened up to this point. It's still a fluid situation. By the time you guys watch us Friday night, even though it's only a day later, there's some of this may change, but
we try. We try for you guys. We try.
As far as waiver claims and signings, of course, we mentioned that Everson Griffin was off and back on, along with Ender DePola and Britton Colquitt. Now, I know, like we'd mentioned, there was a lot of people that were shaking their heads, scratching their this, that, and everything else, trying to figure out what the hell was going on.
With the Colquitt release, there's people that were actually pretty pleased with that,
Yeah.
I thought Colquitt had a decent second game, but his first and third were kind of questionable as far as the preseason goes. But that second, it's always been about consistency with him, especially later on in his career.
Yeah, early on in his career, he was really consistent, but the last few years, it's been the old roller coaster ride. But anyway, the reason why we did that was because we had 3 players that we were going to put on injured reserve, but if they went on injured reserve before 3 p.m. Wednesday, then they would have suffered the same fate as like Nate Stanley, Drew Samia, Chad Beebe. They'd have been out for the season. Whereas if it's after 3 p.m., then they're eligible to return. Right. And those 3 were Irv Smith, of course, which, okay, you can hold out hope for that, but I don't see it happening. Then Kane Nwangu, and special teams ace and sometimes wide receiver Dan Chisena.
Sometimes wide receiver. I don't think I've ever seen him line up except for in the preseason.
And I said sometimes. I didn't say very often.
One time.
Yeah, that one time at band camp. Yeah.
Get it. Oh, and this one time at band camp.
So those guys were all brought back, and then we actually made a waiver claim from somebody else and brought in another tight end. And I'm happy as hell about that because he's a former Bison.
Yep.
Tight end Ben Ellefson of
was he decent?
He had 16 touchdowns in his college career. So, and part of 3 national championship teams on the mighty Bison. Yep. So we're gonna horns up on that one.
Nice.
But Ellefson is in now. He's on the active roster, like I said. So we'll see if he gets any use. I'm guessing
James also somewhere cussing somebody out right now.
Well, that was one of the things that was bouncing around Twitter yesterday, was that Zach Davidson was not happy with the fact that he got cut and wasn't sure that he wanted to re-sign on the Vikings practice squad.
Oh shit.
Like, dude, did you watch yourself play in the preseason?
Did you see your attempt at that throw?
That throw that got picked off.
He opened college go on national television.
He looked like he was swatting a fly.
Whoa.
Oh, and I did when I was listening to, I believe it was K-Fan on Monday. I was out on the road, so I was listening to stuff going around. Ben Lieber was on with Paul Allen talking about some of that, and what he said that he saw was earlier in the game, there was a pass that went Davidson's way, and they were running a 2-level route, and Davidson was a short guy, and there was a receiver, I think it was KJ Osborne, behind him. And the ball was supposed to be going to Osborne, or as Osborne or Marset, one of the two, I forget which one for sure, but
either way, there was a
there was a, and Davidson made an attempt to catch that one and actually tipped the pass. So what Lieber was talking, he thought maybe was the case on that interception when he made that half-assed attempt, and like you said, Spielman called his ass out on that on the TV broadcast,
right,
which was being broadcast on NFL Network as well, so the whole world saw that.
Right.
Was that Davidson doesn't know the routes well enough yet, and he maybe in the back of his head was thinking that there was another route again, deep route behind him on that one. So he kind of went up to catch it and then kind of freaked himself out over what he did the last time.
He's a rookie. He doesn't get to be entitled to anything.
No.
As far as, why did I make the team? Well, you shouldn't have dropped a would-be touchdown pass.
Yeah, that was
you know how to run your routes, and you should be swatting at flies when you go to catch a ball out there. You deserve to sit your ass in the practice squad for a year.
Mm-hmm. Oh, like Judd Zulgad said on Purple Daily on Wednesday, I think it was when I was watching that kind of an attitude there again looks like one of these players that has been told that he's great from the time he's 7 years old.
Exactly.
And nobody ever saying that he does anything wrong. But anyway, it does sound like I think he did actually sign back on the practice squad. But,
He did.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll move on with that. And then again, the big talk around Viking social media, and it hasn't happened yet as of time of recording when I checked before we started here. There's talk that Sean Mannion may be making a freaking return.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
No.
Yeah. I mean, yes, was it last week or the week before I made a comment on the show here that I would rather have Sean Mannion than Jake Browning as our backup quarterback. But I did not mean that was the only two freaking options that we had.
No.
I don't want to see.
No, I don't want to see it. I stick with what we got. Like I said, I've been saying this since day one. Stick with Mond at number 2. Do it.
I mean,
put it in God's hands. Kirk doesn't get injured, and if he does, then let Mond grow within the system.
The problem with that right now is the coaching staff and everybody is in a we need to win this year mode, and that's not.
Sean Mannion ain't going to bring us nowhere.
No, I don't think so either, and that's why I'm not a fan of bringing him back.
Right.
I do think we should have a third quarterback on the practice squad.
Okay, I could go with that. Yeah, I feel you there.
Especially since I hate to bring up the COVID term again, but as of this point, neither Kirk nor Kelland are vaccinated. So if we have a protocol thing, we could lose both of them again.
That makes sense.
So having somebody on the practice squad that you can kind of isolate and whatever as an emergency quarterback, I mean, you have to do that. I think you have to.
Can't do it on the practice squad.
No. No. That's a no.
Oh, man.
It's a no from me, dog.
It's definitely a no for me, dog.
Fucking Randy Jackson.
So anyway, that's the biggest things with the cuts and the signings. So we're going to roll into another one of our classic beer commercials, and then when we come back, we will talk about the final 53 and practice squad guys and kind of go through that. So crack one open. We'll be back in a minute.
I got it in the can for the first time last night. I loved it.
I never thought I'd enjoy getting it in the can as much as I do. I was wrong.
I gave it to my boss in the can. Right after this game, I'm getting it in the can.
I've only had it in the can once, but I'm definitely getting it in the can again.
I've been giving it to everyone in the can all week.
I'm gonna get it in the can in about 5 minutes.
I've lost track how many times I've had it in the can.
Who told you I like it in the can?
I didn't expect to get it in the can at the company party, but one thing led to another, and sure enough, there I was, getting it in the can.
Okay, we're back, and now we've got roster breakdown time. So we went through all the cuts and everything now, and this morning before we recorded, I went and downloaded the unofficially official depth chart for what we've got right now for the active 53 and practice squad and whatnot. On the offensive side, of course, as we mentioned, we have 2 quarterbacks on the roster, Kirk Cousins, Kellen Mond, and probably will stay that way, I assume. Like we had mentioned.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't want no fucking third quarterback.
No, we'll get a third quarterback, but we'll put him on the practice squad. We have still have 2 open positions on the practice squad. Running back right now, we only kept 3, which
If you're not considering Ham a running back, but yeah.
No, this is including Ham because as of right now, Nwangu is still on injured reserve, so he's not counting as a roster spot. But it's Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison, and CJ Ham are the 3 running backs.
Which is surprising because we normally carry more.
We usually carry 4. We carry 4, but I think they're pretty sure that Nwangu is going to be back in a couple of weeks, so that's what they're doing here. Only kept 5 wide receivers this year.
Mm-hmm. Justin
Jefferson, Adam Thielen, of course, are your 1-2. Your 3-4 are KJ Osborne and Amir Smith-Marset.
Mr. Renaissance Man, KJ Osborne.
And once again, I will own my prediction. I was wrong. I was incorrect when I said that.
Wrong, man.
I was wrong. I admit it.
KJ,
I was wrong.
Way to go. 2 class.
You proved me wrong, KJ. Kudos to you.
Now let's see it translate into the regular season.
Right. And then the 5th one, D.D. Westbrook, who has been practicing this week, so he's most likely.
I'm excited to see what D-Day.
D-Day?
D-Day. I did
Okay.
I did it.
All right, Forrest.
I get a pass on that one.
Yeah. Life is like a box of chocolates.
Day-Day.
Day-Day. Lieutenant Dan.
I love my some Day-Day.
Anyway,
I'm excited to see what DD brings to this offense.
Yeah, I'm guessing by the time we play next weekend, he'll probably be ready for at least some action. So, which is why he's on the active and not.
Yep.
Then we kept 4 tight ends, which with the tendency for this team to run 2 tight end sets. We have Tyler Gronklin.
Oh yeah.
Then the newly traded for Chris Herndon, Brandon Dillon, and then my boy Ben Ellefson. Offensive line, we kept 9.
Mm-hmm.
Here again,
we look better. We look better here.
Here again, here's some promising news. Christian Darrisaw is on the active roster.
Yes.
He's been starting to practice a little bit, so I think they're figuring his time frame.
I would say week 3 at the earliest.
Yeah.
If he's lucky and showing that he can play, I would say week 3 would be in my brain, and my gut instinct says about week 3.
I had said week 4 earlier than that, but it sounds like he's recovering well now. So it could be, early as week 2 or 3.
I'm actually glad that he got that done. Hopefully it's a blessing that he got that done and not, we don't have to come back to it and, complain about this core injury.
Right.
Then
our starting 5 up front for right now, anyway, left tackle, Rashad Hill, which I'm not thrilled about.
No, at least we're playing the Bengals week 1, but that doesn't mean nothing. We're Vikings.
Right. Then left guard, Ezra Cleveland, center, Garrett Bradbury, Oli Udo over at the right guard.
About fucking time he gets some significant reps in that first team. I'm excited for Ulu.
Ulu?
I can't fucking say names today. Oli, fucking you got
Oli Udo.
And then you got Ole.
Ole, 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 ole.
There we go. I'm excited for him. I'm excited.
And then, of course, our right tackle, Brian O'Neill. Then the 3 backups, Blake Brandel, who played pretty well in the Indy game, took a little bit of a step back, I thought, in the Kansas City game.
Yep.
But he's our backup / swing tackle. Wyatt Davis is the backup guard. And then Mason Cole, backup center, who can also play guard in a pinch too. So then over on
Brett Jones on that team?
No Brett Jones.
Okay.
Of course, was Brett Jones ever on the team?
Right.
I think, his name was a placeholder there, but, like I said, witness protection, whatever kind of a thing. But what are we going to do now when we can't use the Brett Jones jokes anymore?
I think Mason Cole's the next Brett Jones. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
The Brett Jones Award.
Yes. Then on to the defensive line. We've got 10 players we kept on the defensive line.
We're deep there.
Yep. So, of course, the starters, Daniil Hunter, Michael Pierce at the nose, Delvin Tomlinson at 3-tech, and DJ Wanham is officially, as of right now anyway, is the top of the depth chart for right defensive end. Then backups, we have Sheldon Richardson.
Good backup to have, man.
Yep. You know, there again,
luxury
he'll be
here
in the at the 3-tech on passing downs or replacing Michael Pierce, one of the two. Everson Griffin, who again was gone, back on the roster.
He is
off the
got
roster.
some
Now
gas
he's
left in
back.
that tank from what I seen, but there weren't any hard counts that night either. So
Yeah,
we'll
which
see.
we all know that the tendency he always had to anticipate
Bite
snap
on that
counts and
hard.
then end up getting a offsides penalty. But yeah, in limited action, he looked really good. I think he played 4 or 5 snaps. He had a sack and a
looked
couple
like
of
our best
pressures.
defensive lineman in the preseason snaps he played.
Granted, at that point in time when he was playing against 2s and 3s, but
right.
Then Stephen Weatherly, who I thought was a massive disappointment this preseason, he's still on the team.
Yes, I think he'll be a casualty if we bring somebody back onto the roster.
It's possible, you know, when we have, at least 2 of these guys that are on injured reserve to return, come back.
Yep.
He could end up being one of them. Armand Watts, who I thought had himself a pretty decent preseason.
Hammer.
Yes. He's on. Patrick Jones, the rookie, who played first game and then didn't play after that because he was dealing with a little bit of a tweak of some sort.
Yeah. He looked good that first game, though.
Yeah, he made the roster. I know there's no way they would have. He was a 3rd-round pick. They
No,
wouldn't
you
be able
don't,
to
you
slip
don't
him to the
cut
practice
guys that
squad,
high
so
up that you draft.
no. And then fan favorite James Lynch also made the final 53.
I was pleased to see that. I was
Mhm.
happy to see James make the team, the initial 53. I look for big things out of him. So
Yeah, and he was one I know Zimmer mentioned by name a couple of weeks ago as somebody who's been a real nice surprise.
he's got a high motor.
Yep. And they've moved him over to backing up at the nose tackle.
Yep.
So, he's beefed up a little bit more, and I think that's probably been
The few times he played last year, he made his presence felt. So
Mhm. So I'm excited to see what the kid can do with a little more playing time, hopefully. Then on to the linebackers. The big one again that's been battling an injury but didn't go on IR, so I assume he'll be back fairly soon, is Anthony Barr.
just a name,
Now,
in my opinion.
he's one of Zimmer's favorites, and he's got a big name, but his production
He's
hasn't.
Zimmer's first rounder or first pick he ever made,
Yeah.
and he's got to be on the team. And I've never been impressed with Barr. He had a decent rookie year.
My biggest
sophomore season.
Yeah, my biggest thing with Barr is he can look lights out for a game or two, and then he completely disappears for 2 or 3 games.
Yeah,
I
I would honestly be happy to see Surratt get some playing time there. Steal some of that playing time from Barr, but we'll see.
Yeah, Anthony Barr is like a Midwestern goodbye. He just never leaves.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I'm saying that he gets way too much credit. It's just a name.
Yeah.
I wish we just would have let him go to the Jets.
Yeah, we should have at that point in time. But beyond that, of course, Eric Kendricks and Nick Vigil will be the starter in the 4-3 base, Candlelight Vigil. Then the 3 backups we kept, or we actually kept 4 backups, sorry. Troy Dye, who of course had himself a hell of a game.
He won himself a roster spot this offseason.
In the especially in the indie game, and he won my badass award. Chaz Surratt, who started out a little bit slow, but as the preseason went on, he was all over the place.
He's one of those players that looks better when you put the pads on and when you put him in the game. Some players just look better in game. They look better on the field in game time than what they do during practice. I mean, that's just how some players are.
Yeah.
And I think Surratt fits that bill.
Yeah. Then the other two, Ryan Connolly, who played a fair amount in the last game anyway.
I liked what I seen out of Conley. He seemed to be Mr. Reliable and in sorts.
Yeah, he's not flashy, but he's solid. You know, he's a good,
he's like
good
a
backup.
Gideon 2.0.
Kind of. And then Blake Lynch, who again showed out pretty well in the preseason.
Yep. I'm glad he got a spot too.
Yep.
I'm happy with our I can't talk today, man. I'm happy with our linebackers this year.
It's usually me who's stumbling over the words.
I know I'm all over the place.
Yeah, you're just yeah. Then on to the cornerbacks. We kept 6 cornerbacks. Of course, Patrick Peterson, Bashad Breeland are the starters on the outside. Mac Alexander starts at the nickel. Chris Boyd, Cameron Dantzler, and Harrison Hand are the other 3.
I like that package. I like the grouping that we got. I'm glad that we went with those guys. I can agree with it.
Yeah. Now, one more thing, just a quick touchback on the Kansas City game. I know we had talked beforehand that we needed to see Cam Dantzler pull his head out of his ass a little bit.
He had a much better game.
During Kansas City game, he played much better. You know, he still was off on a couple plays, but it seemed like he was making more of a concerted effort to actually play. You know, he was in on tackles.
I like the punch that he did on the ball there, man. Look like he went and socked somebody in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Punched that ball out.
Yeah. So hopefully he's got his poop back in his group and will be good going forward here. But, you know, we'll see what happens when we actually start playing games here. Then we kept 4 safeties. Of course, Harry the Hitman, who just got his new contract.
Right.
Xavier Woods, who we saw in some limited action against Kansas City, looked okay. And then Cam Bynum and Josh Metellus, the other 2, which kind of who we figured were going to be the backups. Then we actually, as of now, we have 3 specialists again. You know, Greg Joseph, who was pretty lonely standing there by himself there for about 12 hours.
I'm going to do everything.
Yeah. Andrew DePolo, the long snapper, again, cut back on the roster.
Right.
And Britton Colquitt, same thing.
Well, we're on the street. It was Ryan Connolly could long snap too. So,
yeah. And I mean, at least we're not Detroit. They cut both of their kickers. And last I saw, they hadn't brought anybody on yet.
You
know. Then we have, like I said, we talked about earlier, the 3 that are currently on injured reserve, eligible to return. Irv Smith, who probably is not. Kanane Wangu, who likely will be back in a week or 2. And Dan Chisena, which there again, you know, he's a special teams ace. They like him as a gunner and stuff on the punt teams.
Speaking of special teams, I've also heard some rumblings about some of these fans wanting Folk to come in and compete against Joseph. But, you know, I like Folk, but I think Joseph won the job, you know, out straight, but he did have his.
But the thing I have with Joseph that we saw is kicking anything over 50 yards. He's missed way more than he's made over 50 yards.
And it was the same with Bailey. Anything over, you know, 40, 45 yards, you're punting it, and that's silly.
Yeah.
You know.
So I wouldn't be opposed to Nick Folk coming in. I mean, he was
I would give him a look. I mean, I think in camp, Joseph obviously, you know, wasn't given much of a competition. He kind of just got given the job.
Riley Patterson was hurt, so we never actually ever saw him.
Right. So I would be okay with bringing Folk in for a look, honestly.
I could see Folk being one of those ones. So we'll go with Joseph for now, but if he starts missing him in the regular season, Folk, and it's very likely Nick Folk could get picked up by somebody else. You know, maybe Detroit decides they actually need a kicker, so they go get him, or, you know.
I'm just sick of this fucking carousel at field goal kicker. Why can't we just get somebody here? I'm sick of
part of it is because Zimmer has absolutely no patience for kickers, as we saw with Daniel Carlson. You know, he had one god awful game, which did cost us a game against the Packers.
But everybody was calling for Dan Carlson after that game. It was just
it was, but again, it was a knee-jerk reaction, and ever since he left here, he's been really solid with Vegas now.
Yeah.
So you know,
it's just something that we need to get figured out, and it's got to be sooner than later because I'm sick of this.
I don't think it's ever going to be as long as
kicker comes out.
as long as Zimmer's here, I don't think it's going to be, because Zimmer's just got something with kickers. I mean, but then on to the practice squad players. Now, there's 16 spots on the practice squad. Right as of this morning, we only have 14, so there is room for 2 more players, likely a backup quarterback and potentially somebody, if we see somebody else on the market that fits the 53, one of the guys that are on the 53 now may end up there.
Right.
But we
Throw a
have
kicker on there.
Yeah. At the moment, we have Amir Abdullah Oblongata came back and signed in the practice squad. And this is, a difference again. Last year and this year, they've waived the veteran player can't be on the practice squad thing because of the COVID protocols and whatnot. So
I kind of like that. They should just leave it that way.
I'm fine with it.
It opens up more of an opportunity for people to have jobs in the NFL too, if you do that.
Mm-hmm. Also on the practice squad, offensive lineman Zach Bailey, backup fullback Jake Vargas, linebacker Tuff Borland, Zach Davidson, who threw his little temper tantrum and then finally said, "Okay, fine, I'm done. I'm good now. I'll come back."
I made a one-headed catch in training camp. It should have got me the job.
Yeah, and didn't catch a single pass after that.
Right.
Miles Dorn, safety. Dakota Dozier.
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Which
familiarity, that's all it is.
Yeah, but I mean,
he's
still
got some sort of good grace with the team.
I mean, it's like a bad habit that Spielman or whoever just can't kick it. They got to keep bringing him back. It's going back to your
our system is so fucking complicated that you got to keep the guys that know what they're doing. But nobody else can figure it out, man.
But does Dakota Dozier know what he's doing? I mean, we've seen that in games for the last 2 years or whatever he's been here, that he's awful.
Like I'm saying, it's just gotta be the fact that he's a nice guy, and I would assume that's what it is. He's just a nice guy, good to be around. Why not love it?
I don't know, but
I don't know. It's gotta. I don't know.
There's some. It's one of those unsolved mystery things again. But yeah, I know.
Why is he still on the roster? It's got to be something.
Don't know. Beyond him, we have Kyle Hinton, also an offensive lineman. Wide receiver Myron Mitchell. Cornerback Perry Nickerson. Wide receiver Wap Fillier made the practice squad.
Wasn't impressed with what I seen out of him, but it's what the practice squad's for.
Right. This one I'm glad we got AJ Axel Rose Jr.
Yes. For me, not really being acquainted with him coming out, I was happy with what I see in this preseason out of him. He came in and he embraced the shot that he was given.
Yep. So nice to see we were able to get him back. I kind of thought he might get picked up by somebody, but
I thought he would. He put out good tape.
Yeah. Ty Smith. And then this is another one I'm glad that we got put onto the practice squad, defensive end Kenny Willikus.
Yeah.
He was on injured reserve last year, so we missed the whole year, but made a few plays in the preseason. I thought he had done fairly well.
Yeah.
So,
given his status on the team, he took the snaps that he was given and ran with them for sure.
Right. So as of, like I said, at 10 o'clock here, 10:10, sorry.
That's right.
On Thursday morning, as we're recording, that is your 53-man roster and practice squad. So, but with that, that's about all we've got for this week. Once again, want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, the Boulder Tap House. 10 locations across Vikings country in both Minnesota and Iowa. So if you're in the area, there's probably one not too far away from you.
Right.
Craft burgers, craft beer, and an atmosphere the whole family will love. Check them out. Their food's awesome. Highly recommend it. So big thank you to Boulder Tap House again. Want to thank everybody for watching. We got a real bump in viewers this week. So we're hoping to keep that rolling now going into the season. If you're watching us, please hit that subscribe button and the little bell down below there. So you never miss an episode. You'll get notifications whenever we pop something new out.
Just do it.
Punch the button. It's easy. It's like just like that easy button. It's big and it's red. You just push it, and that's all you got to do.
Punch everybody else's button, just punch ours.
Yeah, well, we like pushing people's buttons.
Right.
But anyway, again, you're out and about. Check us out on all the audio platforms. We are on Apple Podcasts now as well. That was a kind of a cluster, but we finally got it figured out, and we're available there now as well.
We are everywhere.
Yep. So there's no excuse not to listen to us or watch us one way or the other, because we're everywhere.
We're everywhere. We're coming for you.
Yep. But with that, again, thanks everybody for watching. Why don't you take us out of here, Lance?
Oh man, thanks again. Well, episode 24 for those of you keeping track. Appreciate all you guys here. Remember, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Once we get to 250, we'll start up another contest here for something. We got a ways to go, I mean. Yeah,
we were at 169 or 170 this morning, I think.
169 this morning. So 250, we'll start talking contest again. And once again, you guys, I was a little out of the loop this week, so I was a little bit behind. I'm back in. We'll get to going again. Appreciate you guys coming here. My daughter's up here cooking on her kitchen set. I'd like to do a shout.
She making breakfast for us or what?
She is. She is. Actually, she's washing dishes in her sink right now.
Oh, okay. Well, you got to wash the dishes before you can cook, I guess. So yeah.
That's right. I'd like to give out a shout out to the NFC North discussion group on Facebook. I'm in that group and I'm an admin. We discuss everything NFC North. If you're a fan of any of the teams of our North, throw a join up, and we'll discuss some football. Appreciate y'all. Hit the subscribe button once again. Just do it.
You can do it.
Come back next Friday, same time, same place. We'll see you then.
All right. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll see you next week.